Welcome to Remember 64, where this week, well, we're simply going on a quest. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show, and hi if you're a returning listener or viewer, and welcome if this is your first time joining us on Remember 64. Here is where we play and discuss the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between throughout the N64's library. My name is David Petrangelo, not Brian, but I am wielding elements of power throughout my journey in this strange medieval-like world. I am not fending off monsters. Instead, I am doing all I can to fend off totally bad vibes this game gets online. I mean, come on, guys. Really? Jiggy Look Back here once again. Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I'm here, and I don't know why I think of that. I think it's from The Hobbit, where he yells, "I'm going on an adventure!" But, it's a quest, so...
I never watched the Hobbit movies. I never got to them.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm up and down on the whole... The trilogy's good. It's pretty good. I'm just not the Lord of the Rings guy. It's just not my thing. That's just...
Oh, man.
I know. It's okay. Hey, I might get a lot of that this episode, so... But we have a very special guest. Of course, we are going to be talking about Quest 64. One of the, if not the first person that anyone's going to be thinking of out there. If you are online in the gaming sphere, as many of us are, if you're listening to this show, you of course know of Quest 64 official. Our Mike is here with us. Welcome to Remember 64. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me, guys. Always a pleasure to talk about Quest with people who like the Nintendo 64 as opposed to talking up the Nintendo 64 to people who don't want to listen to it. So.
Yeah. No, I've said this a couple times where it's never been the top of my favorites list, but as we've done this show and continued to, I've loved it more and more than I thought I ever would. Because we get to play games like this. We get to experience games that I never played before, Jiggy's never played before. That's a great way to sort of explore a library of games that there's a much more there than the typical titles, right? So I think that's a great place to start. Let's just head right into it. Mike, I know that there's, you've talked about this game quite a bit with Quest 64 and everything, but let's start from like the beginning with where, when, how with the Nintendo 64. What's your story with it?
My parents got my younger brother and I a Nintendo 64 Christmas of '96. It was supposed to be a surprise, but there was a huge first-party controller shortage near the end of the year. So after my dad was working full-time and going to college full-time, and he would get home late, and it's, I live in the northern hemisphere like you guys, so it was dark in December by 5, 6 o'clock, whatever. And a bunch of nights in a row, he was just disappearing after work. And one night, the whole family got in the car with him because we were going to go to the grocery store. And then he said something to my mom. And we ended up driving like 45 minutes to a Best Buy that was way out of the way. And they got a second controller there, a Super Pad 64, the like black one that's kind of oblong.
Yeah.
With metal stick. And so that kind of ruined the surprise, but they had been looking for a couple weeks for any second controller pad for my brother and I. So then we opened it that night.
Oh.
And yeah, it was like mid to late December, so it's not like it came really early, but they were obviously really excited. So, and it was, that was it. My parents had always been really good about getting us video games, but they didn't really play a lot with us. My mom would play Bomberman and stuff with me on occasion, but this was the first system where they were like really involved. We made sure to get 4 controllers eventually when they became available. We played lots of stuff together. It was just Mario at the beginning, and then I bought Turok the next spring or summer, whenever it came out in '97, with some money. Otherwise, it was just renting things like Wave Race and whatever Blockbuster had. '96, '97 was pretty light on games. So, but yeah, it was great. I loved playing games with my family, and eventually Quest got into the Blockbuster rotation. And after my mom saw me renting it quite a few weekends in a row, decided to save the family some money and just bought it.
I wonder. I don't know this offhand. I actually should have. Sometimes I look this stuff up. Because there's a lot of discussion right now in the gaming space about how expensive gaming is and what games cost and stuff. There was quite a few cartridges that were 70, 80, $90 sometimes. In the mid to late 90s, this console among them. I don't know. I wonder what Quest costs. You said, oh, save some money and stuff. It's true. If you keep renting the same thing for $7, $8 every weekend or whatever it costs at the time, eventually you're going to hit that $100 pretty quickly. So, but I wonder if it was probably like a standard $60, $70, I assume, for the game. So,
I personally, because I remember because it was my money, I bought Turok the second week it was out, and that was at Walmart in Wisconsin, and that was $89.99 without tax. So it was $95. My whole $100 with to then have Turok, which I wasn't enamored with when I got it, but I felt like financially committed to playing it for 6 months. So
you had to fend through the fog no matter what.
yeah, yeah.
I know that one of the games.
Let the record show
Yeah.
that was, he said, a price higher than the current Mario Kart coming out, and people are just up in arms about the price. I'm like,
Wow.
ugh.
Yeah. Well, we are literally just like what, a couple days away as we sit here right now, a couple days away from Switch 2 being in people's hands. So that's one of the reasons why this is being a big discussion. Yeah, actually the Mario Kart, I think I've said this, I don't know if we talked about it, Jiggy, or not, but like in Canada, the Mario Kart's almost $120. Like, that's insanity. Will that change? I have no idea. I'm not getting a Switch 2 at the moment anyways, but like, I'm not eager to pay that for any game. I don't care what it is. Like, but similarly, like how you mentioned, like it was $89.99 for Turok at the time. I remember I guess it was in 2000 when No Mercy came out. I was a big wrestling fan at the time, and I was like, I got to get this one. WrestleMania 2000 was amazing. The NWO game was awesome. My cousin had that great. That was the same thing. It was like $90, and I think I probably walked in there with $100 of allowance or whatever it was, and it was gone. I don't regret it at all because I love that game, and I actually still have the actual cartridge. But it's like, that's not nothing, especially for a kid. That is a significant cost. So, yeah, it's I mean, it's a lot now. It's a lot then. It is what it is. So
yeah, I kind of like the argument is kind of like bad faith all around. There's a lot of people our age being like, oh, grow up, guys. Games, and they show like systems adjusted for inflation or what we paid for late Super Nintendo Genesis games. Like, no, it was bad that they were expensive back then, and it's bad they're expensive now. Like,
yeah, exactly.
The hobby being expensive is bad for everybody. Like, we don't need justification for things being too high. High prices are bad for everybody all the time.
Yeah, it sucks. Either way, it's coming out of your wallet. Like it doesn't matter if it's then or now. So, so eventually you got Quest and played that one. Obviously, we'll talk about that game in a minute. But were there other games that were not the typical, like you mentioned Bomberman, you mentioned Mario games and stuff, but like even Turok is somewhat, I would consider that sort of like in the realm of what a lot of people may have played at the time and stuff. Is there anything that was not the quote unquote stereotypical sort of choice for the 64 that you had? Because I know Jiggy has tons of those in his experience, and I did not growing up. For me, it was all very much like 90% was the typical stuff that everybody played and everybody had. Did you have any of those sort of like hidden gems? Like Quest, I would say, is one of those as well. But was there any other of those like in your rotation, whether it's rental or ownership or anything?
I've got a few. Buck Bumble was really big in our household.
Nice.
Still have an affinity for that game. My two cats are named Bug and Bumble, as kind of like a callback to that game. My brother actually got that for like his birthday or something, and then didn't like it, and then I loved it, and then he got jealous of me loving it, and then we played the multiplayer a lot.
Nice.
So that was a big one. Wayne Gretzky 3D Hockey we played a ton of.
Sweet.
Trying to think of other ones. See, I played a lot of sports, so NBA Showtime is like my favorite sports game on the system, probably. A lot of people talk about Hang Time,
right?
Because they like the way it looks like NBA Jam, but I think Showtime was even better than that, so we played a ton of that. And then, like you said, wrestling games. We had Attitude, we had WrestleMania 2000, and we didn't have Revenge or No Mercy. We had original one, World Tour, Attitude, and 2000. We played the hell out of 2000.
Yeah.
Even like just making some popcorn and setting up an entire pay-per-view with our like created characters, and then a bunch of normal characters, and then watching just like the matches play out for 2 hours while we ate snacks and stuff was
That's
always
amazing.
fun.
I love the character creators in some of those too, like the No Mercy one I go back to sometimes. Like I put in the cartridge, what was it, like I don't know, like a month ago or something like that. I'm like, I'm gonna play a round of the whatever, one of the belts or something, right? And I was like, oh yeah, a couple years ago I made John Wick. Like it's just a guy in a suit that kicks a lot and punches. Doesn't really do a lot of wrestling moves, but like I love it. It's just stuff like that is just, it's a blast. And he's like super overpowered. Like every kick like takes a huge amount of damage off and stuff. That's awesome. So as far as Quest goes, was that, I mean, you said, and obviously it's hard to just sort of come across these games and stuff. Was Quest like, I guess you obviously you rented it for a little bit, and then when you sat down and like fully played it, was it one of those experiences where you're like, oh yeah, like I remember like this hits with me, or did it sort of take some time? Because that does happen with a lot of games that are among favorites for people.
No, it was pretty instant. I'm older, so I played some 16-bit RPGs right up until we had Nintendo 64. I was playing Final Fantasy 4 or 2 here
Right.
in the Americas right when we got it, and I remember the like culture shock that was going from that game to Quest 64, where everything was it was um like Grand Theft Auto 3. I was able to like run around in environments that were like 3D modeled, and then do random battles and turn-based stuff. And I mean, I don't want to compare those two games in like Quest 64 is like just a masterpiece, just like Final Fantasy 4 is. But I mean, it was something. It was enough to capture my imagination in my teenage years, and see how cool RPGs were going to be moving forward. I didn't have a PlayStation yet, so I had not played Final Fantasy 7. I had friends playing it, and Parasite Eve, and a few
Right.
other games. I did eventually get into them, and obviously I recognize how great those games are, but they have a lot of that same like Final Fantasy style abstraction, where like you're in the overworld and Cloud is huge. He's the size of the
Of the
the
buildings.
high wind in every city. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And Quest didn't have that. It was like playing Mario RPG before Paper Mario came out. So
Right.
it was a
Right.
cool combination of stuff, and it gripped me, and I haven't been able to let that feeling go for decades now. So.
Hey, that's okay. You don't have. No one's asking you to. Just hang on to it. Jiggy, what about you? Because my history of it is just I haven't played it till now. So I'll get into details of how I felt about it and stuff. But what about you? Did you play this before? Was it among that pile that you and your dad went through at one point?
Um, so actually really funny. So I did own it. I only watched it be played once.
Oh,
My friend played
okay.
it, and I just never played it. I I had it. I owned it.
It
I
was
did not
in the
play it.
house. It was feet
Yeah.
away from you.
It,
You could have played.
it was one of those. I think I got it in like a yard sale or something, and it was like in between, or like right when I got my GameCube and everything. So I was sort of, not that I didn't go back to my N64 collection quite a bit, but when I did, I would always go back to Banjo-Kazooie or
Hmm.
Banjo-Tooie, like the games that I really loved. Like I'd go back and just replay those before going and playing a bunch of different games. Like Quest just was one of those that I had in the bucket, but I didn't really gravitate to it
Right.
for whatever reason. I had a couple games like that, but I did have Buck Bumble. I played that. Bomberman 64, I played that. Like there's some good bangers in there. I think it's just one of those, like, even as a kid, there's not enough time to enjoy every game, and some games just unfortunately didn't make the docket before I
Yeah.
transitioned to the next console. Don't even get me started on my Switch library, and I'm getting a Switch too, so
Oh my God.
same deal, I guess.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. See, that's the issue that I run into over the last decade. I would say one because you get older, you get a job. If you want to spend some money for yourself, like a lot of mine goes towards video games and stuff related to video games, obviously with the background behind me. But, you know, as a kid, for me, for the 64, I didn't have a massive library, you know, and I always gravitated towards, I mean, No Mercy was later, but like I put weeks and weeks of my life into that game. But like I always played Mario Party. I always played Mario 64. I always went to, you know, Ocarina of Time eventually when I got it. Always went to Banjo. Like, it was very much those ones. Diddy Kong Racing was probably actually the game that I played for the longest amount of time because it's so much earlier in the life cycle of the console. But like it's so crazy that like there's this console that we're talking about that I have a podcast for and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, never even really heard of this game. Like,
that's the best part. That's the
I love
best
it.
part.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun for me. So to do that, but let's talk about the game itself. Let's talk about Quest 64. Mike, we'll get to you in just a sec. Obviously, there's going to be, I will tell you right now, there's going to be more than a few times that I, or more specifically me, but that we will probably need to be corrected on something that we're talking about, whether it's like a fact or something like that. Feel free to stamp all over us, man. It's all good. But because I go into this, again, I go into this with very little experience, knowing of it and never playing it. So, you know, seeing a couple scenes here and there, but not even physically like sitting there, like you said, Jiggy, and watching anyone play it. I never even experienced it that way. So I've only seen some battles. I've only seen some, you know, areas and stuff that you can find online and stuff. So I think my initial impression, my first, let's say, couple of hours of this was, oh, this is to me, this game looks pretty good. The character models are pretty fun. I love how colorful it is. Like I do really like that sort of uniqueness of it. But I do think that right off the bat, I was like, oh, this feels very early Nintendo 64, very early 3D anything, which we run into quite a bit with this console. It's early 3D. They're trying to figure things out. It is what it is, right? And I don't know that feeling ever really left as I played the game. I do feel like there's a lot of points where it definitely does better than that and improves and feels like, oh, this is very ambitious. This does a really good job of this or this. But overall, my overall feeling of it was, oh, if this came out maybe like a year later and they had more experience with the console, or they had a little bit more time for it to cook, although it sounds like the development of this wasn't exactly simple, it would have sort of maybe hit with me. But I'm also coming into this as someone who did not play Final Fantasy 4 or 2, did not get into RPGs early, really just dabbled with them because friends had them. I don't even know if I ever owned an RPG until Zelda, maybe, like Ocarina of Time, if you want to consider that to be like a quote unquote official RPG. Like, I was too young to sort of get into those things, probably for the Super Nintendo, and the N64 came along and it was Mario Kart and all the things that I've mentioned already. Like, that's kind of what it was. So I think maybe if I had it at that time, it would have blown me away a little bit more and stuff. And I don't dislike the game. I just feel like it was, even though it took a while to get to where it is, I think, with the story of how it's sort of been developed and all these things that we'll get into and stuff, I still felt like it was a little bit undercooked. But I don't think it's a bad game. I do not think it is like the worst RPG or the worst game. There is a lot here to enjoy and a lot of really cool ideas, especially for this time of when these types of games are coming out. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, Jiggy, what about you? Is there, because you played it all the way through just like a month or so ago, or a few weeks ago, or something, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, maybe a month or two ago. Can't remember exactly, but I played through it, and it was really. So the first thing that gripped me, I love the movement. I started running around as Brian, and I was just like, this feels really good. Like, just
he is definitely running.
Nailed it.
That's for sure.
Nailed
he is
it.
Running.
It felt
his
animation.
Right. I find his animations like
Charming.
like the animation itself. It's so fast that it throws me off. It's just like, chill, dude, chill. Like I thought because I had to play this in order for me to sort of properly get through this. I had to emulate to play this on my Steam Deck. I didn't actually get to sit and play it with the N64 specifically this time, unfortunately. I thought it was an emulation problem at first when he first started running. Not gonna lie, I thought something was up.
No, he's cooking.
Yeah,
He's moving. He's booking. No, I enjoyed it. Going through, I definitely feel I sort of had the same feeling that I had when we played Body Harvest, where there's a lot of like
Mm-hmm.
houses to go into, but when you go into like it's sort of like empty areas and kind of big open, and it's not bad. It's just I don't know if it needs more time to cook. If I mean, you could probably say that about anything. It just feels a little empty. Could be early N64. It could be just development and everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but I got like a Body Harvest vibe. But I really overall I was enjoying it. I went in with the mindset, watching this guy in his Twitter glory, just sharing about the game. I'm like, there's no way this is a bad game. There's just
Right.
no way.
Right.
There's no way this is a bad
100%.
game.
Yeah.
I was like, there's value to be had here. And
Right.
like everyone always says, oh, it's one of the worst N64 games, and it is certainly not. I've played far worse. And
We
even
play like I said when what were we just talking about? Where it was like we played Power Rangers, man. Like this is not the worst
yeah,
game.
you really hated that one.
Oh my god, I fucking hate that
did not
game.
hate that one like you did. But
I think it's just a complete waste of time.
it's
Sadly.
so funny though. I think about this, and because two games always come up in the conversation when we
Mhm.
talk about like the worst N64 game, and it's always Superman and this game. And to be honest, I have fun with both of them. Like Superman, treat Superman like a sandbox, go into training mode, just fly around, it's a blast.
Yeah.
Pick up a car, go swimming like a dolphin. I have fun with that. This one,
The multiplayer is killer too. If you guys haven't played multiplayer Superman, it's awesome.
oh it's like flying around in your machines and like yeah.
Yeah, Jiggy talked about it, and me and Jake were sitting there when we were recording, and I was like, "Wait, what?
There's
That's what it
multiplayer?
is." It's such a weird thing, but I wish I played it. I would have been just
it's
experiment
so-
with it. You know what I mean?
so
Like just
bizarre.
yeah, it's so weird.
My only issue with this game is it's very grindy. Um, Random battles happen like every 2 seconds, but you don't get enough experience from those battles, and you have to sit there like the game itself, realistically, if it wasn't so grindy, would probably be like 2 or 3 hours. Like it's a pretty short game.
Yeah.
But with grinding, it's like what, 8, 9, maybe? Maybe 10.
I think I did it in I probably did it in 9ish, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
I mean, you could solve that by just throwing more of those souls around the world, which I appreciated that they at least gave you an option to kind of level up a little bit quicker. It's almost like they acknowledged it and they just kind of slapped the Band-Aid on it real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. And I love collecting stuff, so it's like perfect.
Right.
But overall, I think the charm, for me, the charm puts it up a peg. I really enjoyed it. I actually really enjoy the graphics. I love this sort of early N64 look it has, but it also has sort of like a cartoony, over the top style. Yeah, I liked it more than I thought I would. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Nice. Mike, tell us how much you totally despise this game.
No.
No, I will not. I'm hanging up. I will not.
A lot of the feelings you guys have are obviously valid.
Yeah.
And that resonates with the video game community. That's why you see some of the things you see and hear the things you hear about it. A lot of people saw the graphics and expected it to be like when you see Mario or Ocarina, 64 graphics, you expect a certain type of game, and this game is not that game. It's a much more traditional RPG, just with those kinds of graphics. It's more akin to the first couple Final Fantasies or the first couple Dragon Quest games off of the NES and SNES, where there was random battles all the time. And with like Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior over here, you were one person. You weren't a party. You were just one dude getting killed over and over again, and that's how you your experience. That was leveling up. Like that was get your ass kicked and then pull your bootstraps up and go at it again. So to like if you came from that kind of game, and expected a traditional RPG, then this game is like it's pretty like bang standard
Mm-hmm.
for leveling stuff. But that's not what the Nintendo 64 was known for.
Right.
And it's certainly not the audience they were shooting for. Like you said, it had 4 controller ports, like right on the front of the system. It was for multiplayer games. It was for having your friends over. It was for experiencing, Mario in 3D and Link in 3D for the first time. This game just like didn't resonate with a lot of people in that same way because it's not an established, franchise, and it wasn't the genre that the system was known for. So I get it. Like I understand that this game is definitely a me thing and not an everyone thing, and I'm just trying to get it in more people's hands, I guess, and like give it a shot in your 30s or your 40s when you're
Yeah.
not 12 and just waiting for your turn to, play Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it helps too to have sort of a base knowledge of what you need to do in the game too, like leveling up. I on live stream I had some folks that were like, "Hey, level up your water stat first so you get a healing spell." Like just those little tips that you
Which
could.
you told me too, and I was like, oh, that's what
Yeah.
it does. And like, does the
Yeah.
manual tell you that? I should have checked, and maybe it does.
Yeah,
But yeah, it does,
it
right?
does.
So yeah. So
Which we
really,
don't have,
like,
but I mean,
yeah, like, okay. So at the
what kid would
time,
read the manual anyways?
I mean, I would have gone through it, but now that's not physically in front of you. Like, yes, you can find them online, but
Yeah.
like we've said with multiple games on this show, like I am not inclined to always say, hey, I'm playing this game for the first time. Let me go find the PDF of the manual. Like, you can do it, but it's just not the first thing that pops into my head. I could have
Yeah.
done it with this, and I didn't. And that's
I
fine. But I don't know that that's necessarily a shortcoming of the game either.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said that you can get into a game and just pick it up and play.
Yeah, sure.
Without having to read instructions or do anything. And I don't think you need to look at instructions to play this game. I'm just saying it helped my experience having some people on streams being like, "Hey, I suggest you level up your water spell." Essentially it was like, "Don't level up your fire." I was like, "All right, sounds good." And I'm so glad I followed them and actually leveled up rock the most because that ended up being like the spells that I would use throughout the game. Magic barrier. Um, it's been a minute. I can't remember, but the one that just drops rocks from the sky. Like, yeah.
I don't know. Once you
can
rock
multi
something,
attack.
I think.
Once
Yeah.
you can attack multiple enemies at the same time with one attack, it's like, all right, this game it's speeding up. Let's do it.
Yeah. I
That's what
like
it needs.
I really enjoy for me, I have again very little experience with RPGs around this time. And every once in a while I'll play one, that's newer and stuff, but I'm just not the not the quote unquote JRPG guy, which I know that not every RPG is a traditional JRPG that would be made around this time or whatever, but I'm just not that guy. But I like the battle system in this. I find like the sort of movement restriction sort of balance that you have of moving around the sort of battle arena and stuff to be really, really fun, because there's a lot of games that have come out in the last 20 years, let's say, and there's even games that are coming out today that are saying, it's turn-based, but it's active. That's the battle system. And that is exactly what this is. It is an active system. You are able to move in the middle of an enemy's move. You're able to move around the battlefield, but you're still taking turns to hit each other. And I think that that is one of the ideas that this game has that is better than a lot of games around this time, I think. I think it really excels in that. And is it absolutely perfect in every way that you sort of execute your moves and stuff? Sometimes you turn a little bit to the left or the right and you miss your opponent. It's like, oh, okay, really? Okay, I guess I got to sort of figure that part out, or, but the fact that you can just sort of manipulate the battlefield almost in a way is fantastic. And I really, really like how they did that. From the first battle, early stuff, you realize, oh, this is doing something different here with these battle systems, even though we are taking turns. And I think that, to me, that was my favorite part, is that. And yes, it is, okay, select your move, C buttons, do that, sort of cycling through your abilities like a lot of RPGs do from the time especially. But I don't know. I just that uniqueness of being able to move around the battlefield and have the sort of circle around you and be able to escape when you get a chance to. All that stuff I found to be great. So I don't love random battles, but I like that I can escape these ones without having any issue.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind random battles. Like I love Pokemon, but at least you have the security of knowing you need to be in the grass to engage, so you could potentially like avoid
Yeah.
it. I love Mega Man Battle Network, which is a little bit more like this. Like as if you're on the net, you're running around, you're gonna encounter random battles. I just felt like they were really, really frequent. Like you can't go like 3 steps without getting a battle. And if
Yeah.
you do like have a stretch where you start running, you're like, whoa, what's wrong? Like, am I about to encounter a boss or something? Like, something's about to happen. But the battle system, it's funny. I just made that Pokemon comparison, but it's like it took what 25 years, and now Pokemon Legends is kind of following this framework of like an active battle where you can like run around in the middle of it
Oh,
in
does it do it that
turn-based.
way?
Like
I have no experience playing
Pokemon
that game.
Legends does, yeah.
Okay. I know it's not the
So
only game that does it, but I do
it's
really
yeah,
like the
it's
idea.
it's cool. I like that aspect too. It also gives
Hmm.
you some extra challenge trying to like aim your attacks and
Yeah.
things because not all attacks lock on. Like the rock attacks, there's the one that comes in from the side. It just like rolls in, and yeah, if you can aim it right, if you can kind of line it up right, you can hit multiple enemies. And if you can't, you kind of
Onto
suck.
the. um. My
I'm a huge Pokemon
yeah.
Legends Arceus fan too. There's probably something to be said about those two. Also, the aesthetic style. I was probably
Hmm.
drawn to it for a certain reason. They got a lot of the same stuff going on. So
Yeah.
Dude, Legends was amazing. That was like one of my. I'm excited for the new one, but that was so refreshing to me when I played that game. I hadn't been hooked on Pokemon since like Soul Silver. I think maybe I played X and Y and I did really like X and Y, but then like since then I've been kind of like, yeah, okay. And then Legends came out and I was like, this slaps. This was awesome.
I have so little Pokemon, as we've talked about, so little Pokemon experience. Um, the before we get too far into it, I wanted to sort of mention, I wanted to find, speaking of like reading the manual and stuff, every once in a while I want to sort of find like how was this game sort of described at the time. Like for me, I don't have the box for this. I don't have, I've sifted through sort of some magazines and stuff like that. But the back of the box, for example, is a fun way to sort of look like how did they sell this to you at Blockbuster, for example? If although not every Blockbuster, not every rental place had the boxes out. Sometimes it was in their own. I don't know if that's how it was in your guys' stores, but it was like the actual box for the game wasn't on display. It
Hmm.
was the
yeah.
plastic box that just had the name of the game or the movie on it.
Yep.
And yeah, okay. Wasn't just me. I thought maybe it was just a Canadian thing. I don't know. So the back of the box, let's see, it says a massive adventure RPG. So this might give people an idea if they don't quite know exactly what it is, but we can also obviously describe the story and stuff too. But it's just Keltland, right? Or am I pronouncing it's Keltland, right? That's the way
Oh,
to say it.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay. I don't know why I question myself, but Keltland has been cast into chaos by the theft of Eldhill's book. The mystical volume contains the secrets of the spirit tamers. Control Brian, a magician's apprentice, as he explores the expansive countryside and villages on his quest. If he does not reclaim the book, the kingdom of Keltland will be cast into darkness forever, including over 50 deadly spells. 50! 100
50.
characters in it, and unique battle engine. Boom.
Yeah, that sounds pretty epic. I always laugh every time because I forget his name is just Brian, which
I
is just like the most normal name you could have given him,
It's so
and it's
funny.
awesome.
It's so funny. I
He's a
is
normal dude. He's just an apprentice. He's just a
He's
little
just an
guy, and
apprentice.
it's in obviously it's Keltland, so it's like inspired by Celtic Scottish
Yeah.
stuff, and that
Yeah.
Brian is like a super traditional boy name from that time and that
Yeah.
place, and people like to make fun of it, but I'm like, man, like he's just a normal guy. Why would he have some crazy name like Cloud or Squall when
Yeah.
he's just like a normal he's like a 12-year-old kid running
It
around the
just felt
countryside
like
like
what is the name of the book?
Or
Yeah,
L-Tail.
it's just
Yeah,
like
L-Tail.
when you throw in names like that,
Yeah.
then Brian feels off. It's like if everyone had a normal name, it'd be one thing, but it's like it's
Stop
like
the
all these like
yeah,
crazy,
stop the
crazy
evil
names.
stop the
And
evil
then our
John.
hero,
Like,
Brian.
oh no, here comes Paul. Like just things
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
It's I found it to be really weird. I thought maybe it was like, oh, it's a lost in translation type thing, which does happen from time to time, right, with games that are released. But this was, as far as I remember, as far as I can remember, this was released in North America. Was it first, or
Yep.
it was okay? And then there was one of the differences too. Is again, I'm just going off of sort of some of the notes I wrote down and stuff like that too. Is that like through the development, there were supposed to be, or there could have been, multiple characters that you could choose or play as, which is really interesting. I don't know why I didn't have it in my notes, but Mike, what they were all like sort of different classes, were they not?
Yeah, they are character models that are still in the game. They just were kind of cut from the playable portion.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you'll find Flora eventually in the game. She's kind of red and blue, got a little sword kind of thing. She was one of the support characters. And then Kiliak, who ends up being the pirate on the ship that you meet with Colleen later on, he was the third
Oh,
kind of like tank character. But those were the three playable. Obviously that got chopped. Um, yeah, lots of things got chopped. But what we got was pretty cool. So.
yeah. Yeah, I think that could have been pretty interesting to sort of have a choice, whether it's a team thing or whether you're playing individual like you do in this. I think it sets itself apart, like you mentioned earlier, Mike, how like you are adventuring on your own, and I think that sort of reminds me a little bit of the name thing, where it's like, yeah, he is just this kid. Yes, he's not some wizard yet. He's not this big fantastical character yet. And his name's just Brian. But I think like the expectation is, oh, it's an RPG. It has this turn-based system. It's Final Fantasy, so someone has to be named blah blah whatever, Sir this. That's, I think, where some of that comes from. And I like that it just doesn't care, and it's just
Yeah.
no, it's Brian, and we're doing our own thing pretty much from the beginning. Whether it's a name, whether it's the way the characters look, whether it's the high on caffeine run that he has, like whatever it is, like it's doing its thing. So
I had to give him a fancy hairstyle though. That's a requirement of any RPG main character, and they nailed it.
it's alfalfa is what it is.
Alfalfa.
Yeah. What did you Jiggy? What did you think of sort of like the story and stuff? Did that kind of sort of keep you going, or was it more like, I just I like the battles, I like the areas, I like the sort of, what did you think of sort of as
Oh yeah,
things were going
absolutely.
on?
That's what kept me going.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what happened. Um, it. I wouldn't say that the battles kept me going. I got frustrated with how grindy it was.
Yeah.
That was the only really was the only thing that I was just like, man, if I didn't have to sit here and grind to progress to fight this boss that I want, like I just want to fight, I want to, but I'm kind of one of those people too. Like I'm either super into a side quest and I forego the main quest, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, that side quest was amazing. And then I never and then I just keep going down that rabbit hole and keep doing amazing side quests and never finish the story. Or I'm all into the story and I just forego like most, if not all of the side quests. Like it's just kind of how I play games. I don't know. It kind of depends on
Yeah, I do
what
that
draws me
sometimes.
in.
Yeah.
Side quests almost feel like, because it's an option, I have more of a choice of like, oh, like a game like Witcher that's like massive. I still have not finished it, and I just every time I go into the game, side quest, side quest, side quest. But for quest, appropriately titled, the quest was the main draw for
Yeah.
me. Yeah, and I liked seeing the new bosses too. Like every time, I felt like every boss was pretty unique and different. Because you start out with the thief, and then it just gets like really weird at the end, and I like fully wanted it to get weird, and it delivered. and it was awesome.
I was gonna say I'm glad that this game is despite Brian being the hero, this game's weird around Brian in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
And you know what? Because I'm looking at it now, looking at the monsters that popped up, that was one thing that made the grinding like more tolerable because like occasionally new monsters would pop up that I hadn't seen and I was like, "Oh, that's neat." It was kind of like the same draw I get from Pokemon with a random battle. You're like, "Oh, that's a new one," you know?
Right, right.
It was cool. And they especially when they got kind of like spooky and freaky looking, I was like, this game has like why? But I love it.
Why is it doing it? Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
These particular ones that we have pulled up here, where he's running through the forest and fighting these big sort of trees.
Demon trees.
Yeah, demon trees. Yeah, yeah.
It's
That's
like
a good way
a
to put
frog
it.
knight.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like lots of epically designed. Like it's just they got together and they were just like think of ideas and they just drew out these characters and they're
yeah.
like, sure, that could be sure. They just threw them into the game. It's like there's no cohesion, but that's what makes it cohesive. It's like that's awesome.
That's true because some of the enemies pop up and it felt like to me a lot of the time I was like, oh this guy doesn't belong here. Like sure, a tree in a forest, okay, that's fine. But
Yeah,
then
that
there's
makes
like
sense.
yeah, no, absolutely that makes sense. But then
Yeah.
there's a mix of different characters in random areas and like is it really that bad? No, but also
It's like it not making sense is what makes sense. And I'm into it. I like it. It's silly.
Mike, you got any like favorites, like areas, enemies, bosses, things like that? So kind of going through some of that stuff.
Big Mouth is a community favorite. It's the
Oh
like
yeah,
alligator crocodile looking thing at the beginning. We
yeah,
have lots of fun. Bing Chan is one of the world record speedrunners, and his wife has done like some crazy Big Mouth art. So Big Mouth is friend. We all love Big Mouth. Later on in the game, we always anybody who streams the game for the first time, or when we watch speed runs, or when people are doing races, uh, everybody celebrates when you get to Mammon's Realm and you're on the blue yellow path, where it's just blue yellow, like bricks all the way across. That's another personal favorite and
yeah.
fun like community favorite time. Like you said, the music does some really crazy things when you're in the like trippy Mammon's Realm.
Oh
After
yeah,
anything after Barragoon, I guess at the end is lots of fun. The weirder it gets, the better, I guess.
Hmm.
Some of
yeah,
the other enemies, like I've been like jokingly doing this because I'm ramping up for Quest Anniversary month here, but like I've just been picking random enemies and then like saying I'm gonna post about their lore and then just like showing a picture of them, and that's the entire lore because obviously like you're looking at here, like
Yeah, it's
like the
awesome.
blood gel with the eyeball
yeah.
inside of it. That's the whole story. Like if you play the game, like you fully understand it's just some weird dude with with a character model you're not going to see anywhere else or only in like crazy RPGs, and you just understand that that's part of the game. Like that's why I'm playing this.
Yep.
I'm playing it for the weird dudes.
Yeah, that's the thing is it almost because so when you're running around, especially early, I was like, ooh, I was a little underwhelmed about the world itself because I was like, oh, this is like Jiggy, you mentioned sort of going into the buildings. The body harvest thing is actually a really good comparison because it's got some size to it. This I think feels a little bit more closed off because there's actually
Hmm.
more like literally walls and cliffs around you, whereas in body harvest, it's kind of just like they don't put walls, but you just can't go over that cliff sometimes, or you just can't go in that area. So they just sort of make it look open, but really it is sometimes an invisible wall. So I was like, oh, this is very like empty. There's not enough to do here. And ever from time to time I still got that feeling. I don't think it's very populated per se. Um, but it's always populated with different weird freaking enemies. And I think that like that really like leans into its personality. Whatever the personality is of this game, like I don't even know how to define it. It's so mixed, which is kind of like what we've been talking about. It's like it's fun, it's colorful, but it's also really strange and crazy. Um, and I think it sort of hits this weird like middle ground where I can't quite put my finger on it. And again, I didn't dislike playing it and stuff, but every once in a while I was like, oh, I wish this did this, or I wish this did this, Um, I think the one thing that is a big part of this, and we're talking about sort of some of the leveling systems, is it doesn't level like a traditional RPG, or now a game would, if it's a action game that has RPG elements, sort of built into it, where you have some leveling and stuff like that. You don't level with experience per se. You level with the more you use a spell, and then you collect these little, are they wisps? Is that what they're called? I can't remember exactly what the name
Souls,
is.
I think.
Are they just souls? Is that what it is? The little one things that you collect throughout the game. I like the idea, but I don't know. I don't know if it's like it looks like just like an environmental, like, oh, there's a raindrop, or oh, there's like a steam coming out of the ground. I was like, sometimes I didn't know that that's what I was looking for, and it looked like it was almost like a mistake sometimes because of where they're placed.
The Donkey Kong 64 fan of me just loves collecting crap. So looking for those was like part of the fun for me.
Yeah.
I would say put more. Make me level up. Like, let me get God tier. I want to be 50 by like the second world on everything. Like, it would have been fantastic.
It is fun when you're super strong in this. That's true. Like, it does take a lot of that grinding, which is not my favorite mechanic in any game, regardless if it's RPG or, I guess those are mostly RPGs. But yeah, when you are overpowered and Brian is kicking ass with his spells, like, it's pretty cool. And I don't know if it's because, like, oh, it's just some kid killing a bunch of monsters and bugs and whatever. It's like, oh, that feels so unexpected. I don't know if that's part of what the feel is. But
you feel underpowered though. It's like,
yeah,
terrifying, because you're in a like, when I first go into the cave, like the first cave you go into, and like everyone that was watching my stream were like, "Oh, watch out for the wyvern," or whatever it was, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And they're like, "Yeah, you probably won't encounter it like right away, but just be aware that it's in there." First encounter, like, it popped up, and I was like, "Oh no, this is what you were talking about, this giant freaking dragon thing." And no, I was like, I am not even close to being enough to fight this right now.
Yeah. For me, games in general, when they do that, doesn't matter if it's this one or not. Is like, I don't know if I love that mechanic in general, where it's like, you don't know that you need to be way more buffed up or leveled up or something to be anywhere close to being prepared for this, do I need everything spelled out for me? No, I don't think that. I think there's fun in exploration. I like finding the souls and stuff too. I was like, I found a couple early on, and I didn't know that was one of the mechanics, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Great. I get to find these things. But I do wish there was more, actually, and I do wish there was like a little bit, like, I don't know, instead of them just being in like this random corner of an empty space, I wish there was like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what would solve it per se, but I feel like I wanted them to be implemented in a more organic way, but I don't know how, like, I don't know if it's part of like a reward, or maybe I'm just looking for a more traditional RPG system and it's just not there. And that's a me thing.
Did you guys visit the start menu screen a lot and like look at your progression and look at your stats and
eventually,
look at how close
yes.
you were leveling
Eventually
up?
I did.
Occasionally, yeah. Not a ton.
The system itself is like big. If you've played Final Fantasy II, which is the one that we didn't get over here until later, we got it on PlayStation and stuff. But
right,
it does this exact same kind of like leveling system, where like it's just use based. Or we eventually got it in something like Oblivion, like the Elder Scrolls game. So you like jump and it levels your agility, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that like the once you start like exploring the menu and like really honing in on what it's doing, then it like makes more sense. Like getting hit like by spells like increases your defense, and then you see your defense meter go up as stuff hits you. And the same with MP. Like every time you use Wind Cutter 2 and like 8 of those little wind cutters hit, all 8 of those give you, all the successful hits give you MP, and then your MP bar, you have a longer MP bar, lets you heal more, which lets you, yada yada yada. So it is like traditional, but once again, if you didn't have the manual, or you didn't like go digging and like really make yourself cognizant and tune yourself into what's going on, it is like an obtuse way. It's not like, oh, I killed a guy and I got 3 experience points. It's I let
Right.
this enemy beat on me for 15 minutes, and I ended up getting like 10 points in the defense and 3 HP, and like
Right.
it's very like Excel spreadsheet kind of stuff, and not so much you know a number number goes up kind of
Yeah,
stonks
yeah.
thing.
You
So
get a plus like that.
And
It's,
by the
you
way,
yeah,
get the gold
I
star.
remembered something else I didn't like.
Okay.
There's no mini map. There's a compass, but
Yeah.
there's no mini map.
Yeah.
And I did have to open up the start menu and like it's not it
It's
if
not
I
the
remember
first
right,
thing. It
it's
needs
not
to
the
be the
first
first
thing.
thing. I
You have
fucking
to
hate
pan
that.
over. I was like, can you just like at least lock it on that screen?
I
That would
hate
have
when
made
games
all
do
the
that in
difference.
general. It doesn't matter what game it is. It's like if this is a game where like exploration or sort of, you have a quest to go north, you have a quest to go
Yeah.
this many meters or whatever. Like just make the map. It doesn't have to be the most detailed thing. Even in this, compass is something, but the compass doesn't do anything in like a cave like we're looking at right now. It doesn't do anything. You just look for an open space and you're like, okay, I'm gonna walk this way, and like that's where it's sort of kind of guiding you to go, and that's fine. But in an open space, like it could just be right under or on top of the compass and just be a very basic. Here's a house where you started. Here's the general area where you need to go, and that's it. Or
Oh
press
man.
start and it's the first thing.
Everyone on my stream was just like telling me, they're like, use your compass, use your compass. And I'm like, it's not instinctual to me. I'm not used to using a compass. I'm not gonna remember that.
Do you
So
also
they'd
hate
be like,
analog
go
clocks?
north, go north. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, fine.
Jiggy, do you hate analog clocks? Can you read those?
I can read those, but
Okay.
it's
I'm
such a
just
waste of
asking.
time when I can just look at my phone because we have an analog. Now that you say that, we have we have clocks in my office, and I will
Yeah.
never look at them. I'm always just like, oh.
I'm big into like print media, like magazine strategy guides, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And one of the things I did last year was uh, destroy one of my Quest Prima guides because there was no scan of it online. And the cool thing about that is the really detailed maps that are in it. So I, scanned it with a crappy
Mm,
Epson like desktop printer and put it up on archive so everybody can, because that makes a big difference if you're,
Yeah.
especially if you're just a streamer who's just trying to get through the game and have some fun and enjoy it with your friends online. Like having the maps of the dungeons and
yes.
having the map of the overworld
It's
is
huge.
is yeah, and it makes the game more fun. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't talk a lot about regional differences, but one of the
Yeah, yeah, that
when
was that's something I
Eltail
meant to talk
monsters
about, and then
came
I
out,
just sort of yeah.
we'll just touch one of the important things is they
Yeah.
on the big map, which you talked about on the start screen, is they let you have a like Oblivion style like destination marker, so you could drop a pin, and then on the map you could kind of see which way you were going,
Mm-hmm.
which is and the road signs were legible. So when you'd run up to them, it would tell you this city is this way, this city is this way, this city is this way,
I don't.
the
Wow.
cave is this.
That'd be so.
But none
Even
of
that,
that,
like,
yeah, none of that made the Rush translation over here. And Eltail came out almost a year later, so they fixed all that stuff for the Japanese release. So,
yeah. So tell me, have you played the Japanese release or
yeah, yeah,
is
I own a
it
couple copies of it.
is it I mean there's these quality of life things like UI and things like that
Yeah.
that make part of it more enjoyable and stuff, but like does it largely play the same otherwise? Like is there a massive
Oh yeah.
difference? Yeah, okay.
No, it's mostly the same. There's significant things. Like there's critical hits and
Ah.
like if you end up doing a lot of like staff bonks, like the hitting with the staff, there's like
Mhm.
kind of a Paper Mario timed double hit mechanic. So if you like press
Yes.
the staff button right when you're hitting correctly, you can get like two hits instead of one kind of thing. But as far as like mechanically, pretty much the same. You got more items from the monsters. They realized that they weren't dropping as much, which was hindering people's like progression. And they added. You guys saw the end. There's a big long like cutscene at the end of the Japanese one. It
Okay.
takes about 10 minutes to get through it. That gives you like where is everybody afterwards and all that stuff. And that wasn't
Ooh.
it's just an end screen. So there's a translated version of it online that you can like read through and see the screens. And it's really cool. But all that stuff I think would have helped like Quest's legacy in the Americas because I don't want to call us like simple, but you know, having stuff handed to us during a time when like video games were really important culturally would have done a lot for people's like overall perception of the games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's a very good point. I think it's cool. It's almost like the Japanese version. You said it was roughly a year later. It's almost like it's like a director's cut. Like it's kind of like that kind of thing where it's like, oh yeah, we realized like let's add these things that we couldn't do, or let's make these changes or whatever. And then you mentioned this sort of time mechanic. I forgot that I sort of looked up that was the case. I instinctually tried to do that when I started playing this game. On all of the moves, not just the staff hit, the staff bonk thing. I was like, oh, it feels like it, because it just the way that it's presented, the way that the spells work, the way that he hits them with the staff, like it feels like it was meant to have that. So it totally makes sense that would be something that would be introduced, that they would, use at least in some way. I think that could have actually, as much as I enjoyed the battle system as is, I feel like that could have just added, because I think like we've done an episode on it, but Paper Mario, for example, is just fucking fantastic, and part of it is
Mario.
Yeah, part of it is that I love it.
It's outstanding. You should love it.
Yeah, and it's still the only one that I've played. I need to play the other ones. And that mechanic is in a whole bunch of games now, not just that franchise, obviously. So, a very big game that's amazing that's out right now as we talk about this uses that almost exactly. Everybody needs to go play Expedition 33. It's amazing. It's I'm trying to think like what. You know what. My biggest gripe is the random battles. Like even in Pokemon, like early Pokemon, which is I only have experience in the first 2 gens, maybe 2.5. Even though you have to walk through grass in those games, I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like not anymore.
Just not your cup of tea.
Just not anymore. Just not anymore.
Jiggy, you talked about how you have to walk through grass and doing counter. Did you stay on the roads in this game? Because let me tell you, there's a heat map mechanic where if you stay on the roads and in the center, like the frequency of the battles is lower, and the further you get away from the roads into the grass and into the battle frequency is significantly higher. So if you're trying to like cut corners and get places faster, that really like increases your battle frequency.
100%. That's exactly what I did. I would always be shortest line to my destination. That was me. Wow, I did not know that. And that might change one of my biggest gripes, honestly. It's still grindy.
Let's be clear. It's still frequent, and it's still frequent. Like, even on the roads, it's not like you're getting, like, 5 minutes without a battle because you're running on the road. It's just less frequent.
Oh, man. Well, mean, we're talking literally, like, 3 steps. And that's Brian's steps, which are very fast. And then it's, like, another battle. And I'm like, and then I'll always... I think what it is too, it's the combination of not only the frequency of the battle, but not having enough MP, and you regenerate your MP by running. So then I'd be like, okay, I need to get my MP back up so I can actually, attack and battle. I have 3 MP. I've got to escape this battle. Escape. Walk 3 steps. Gain like 2 more MP. A battle. And I'm like, I can't fight right now. Like, leave me alone.
Not now, damn it.
One other thing, it's not a huge deal. But it's a little strange that you have all these towns and there's no like shops per se. Like you can't buy items. Items are either given to you by a random NPC or they're like in a treasure chest. And it's just I don't know. That's one of those things I'm like, if you had a shop and I could like just buy a bunch of like, not that I was ever lacking either. Like, that's another thing. I feel like they're fairly generous, but I would want the good items that are like 150 health, versus 10 MP. Like, I'm not going to use something that gives me 10 MP.
There's no currency system at all. Like, it's just go in, walk into a house or building or whatever. If someone's in there, they might give you something. Great. Now you got something out of it. Walk around that corner, you find a chest, great. Maybe you'll get something that's useful out of it and stuff.
And I like the chests. I like that, but it feels like it feels like an RPG thing just to have a shop so you can like get
Right.
items or accessories or something. And yeah, it's just give more use to the towns. Give more use to them.
So like it's never like been confirmed, but like diegetically, because we're creating Quest 64 lore as we go through the years here. There's not a lot of like development history of the game outside of like pictures and like stuff like that.
Hmm.
But the last boss is Mammon, who is the brother of hell that's associated with greed and wealth. So like what we've speculated over time is that the whole game is trying to show you like every town is willing to give and give with no capitalism, no currency, nothing like costs anything. The end boss is literally greed, so
Mm.
yeah, it could have used money, and the sequel like did have a currency like thing in it. Obviously, it never came out, but like it is cool to think that everywhere you go, people are giving you things for you get the wings to return to the towns
Hmm.
for free. If you don't have if you don't have dewdrops or mint leaves or bread, somebody is willing to give you one for free because
Hmm.
you're the one that's going on this quest. Yeah, it would be traditional to have like shops, but like I said, diegetically or like within the lore of the game, it's cool to that like there is no greed, there is no like hoarding of stuff, and killing a bunch of enemies just to buy more, just to have more things and buy more stuff because the end boss is literally the greediest, most hoardy demon in hell. So
I love that. That's a great. I hadn't heard that. That's I'm gonna go with that. I like where that's going.
yeah.
That's pretty sweet. It's not a massive issue. I don't think either of us are saying that, but it does feel like
Yeah.
sometimes like I think for me, and I think Jiggy, you touched on it a bit too, is like I wish there was more interaction and things to a reason to keep me in the towns.
Yeah.
Whether they were bigger, whether
Yeah.
I like meeting people. I like sort of discovering those in RPGs and sort of not every dialogue has to have a big dialogue tree that leads you to a bunch of side quests. That's totally fine. I will go into a town in an RPG and just talk to everybody, even if
Yeah.
they're not giving me anything, because it helps you really like live in the world. And some of the characters, they give you a sense of that. You do have an idea of kind of what's going on and stuff, but it's not terrible, but give me a little bit more to care about why
Yeah.
I want to keep this town safe, for example, or why I want
Yeah.
to stuff like
I
that.
love the concept of NPCs saying just like stupid things.
Yeah.
Um, like I would love to just have an NPC you just go up to and he just says like I like bread, and like that's it. Like there's nothing else. I'd be like I like that guy. It
Well,
adds
then give me
charm.
some bread. I need some health. Let's go. Give me
No, he
some
doesn't
bread.
give you bread. He doesn't give you bread. That's the thing.
Oh
He
yeah,
doesn't
he's the
give you
only one
bread.
that doesn't
Someone
give you.
else, totally unrelated, gives you bread. That guy just likes bread,
You have to find the baker to get the bread. You can't just talk to the guy that likes the bread. Yeah.
and he's not even in the bakery.
Yeah. I think overall I would still I think we've sort of touched on it a bit, but I'd recommend people check this out. Like I don't think
Yeah.
that you're gonna. I don't know that a lot of people are gonna say like, oh, this was the greatest RPG experience I've had. But I don't think it needs to be. Like a lot of these games that we've played have some pieces of them that are, it's imperfect. But so what? Even games now have tons of that. So embrace what this like offers for you, I think. It just does take some getting used to if you haven't played a game that is one of this era, because I'm sure there's some people listening to this or that have seen the game or seen yourself, Mike, online that don't have experience with a lot of games from this time. This, I don't know. Would you say, Mike, that this could be like a good starting off point, or would it be something like, oh, maybe it's after you've played a couple RPGs of the era, then move on to this? Because I feel like it has a vibe of that, but I don't know if that's the way to go or not.
I mean, it's not like I've never seen anybody post that like Quest is baby's first RPG or something like that.
Sure. Okay.
But I mean, honestly, I mean, it's a good like starter RPG, but I would think you would get more enjoyment out of it, especially like exploring the leveling system and the combat mechanics and all that stuff. If you have your foot, in the pool already, had played some other art, some more traditional, especially like 2D like Super Nintendo or Nintendo RPGs or Sega RPGs, but it's not a requirement. I think anybody can pick this game up and enjoy it whether you like RPGs or not. But I also think you could be immediately turned off before you even get to the first boss by, getting your ass handed to you before the first, before you get to Dondrin or Mel, like it just,
Because
it
you
can be
could,
that
yeah.
way for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't click with you then. And then you decide you never want to pick it up. And I get it. Like, so, I suggest it to everybody, but I suggest a lot of Nintendo 64 games to everybody. It's part of who I am. It's like, if you haven't, I get it. You don't like sports games, but like, if you haven't tried things like, NBA Hang Time or, International Superstar Soccer, like you're missing out on some like really cool period piece video games and like a whole branch of like history. Like you don't have to be into simulation sports to play a game that's, well put together and
Right.
mechanically fun and stuff. So same with Quest. Even if you're not into RPGs, maybe the vibe will click with you and it can just be a vibes thing. That's fine.
Yeah, I think that's me. And not that I dislike RPGs, but like I said before, it's not the first thing I go to. Like I don't gravitate towards them and say I just need to dig into a however long hours of an RPG. I just have that itch. I never really do, but when I give them a chance and I play them a little bit more, and I just say like I'm gonna put myself into this, and a lot of the time it works out, but it's just not the first thing that comes to mind. So
for me, with RPGs in particular, and the reason why I kind of like this one, RPGs tend to be really over complicated and explain everything in like the first like 20-30 minutes.
It takes forever to get going.
It takes forever to get going and like start into the game. This kind of throws you in.
Yeah,
and you're just like, you're there and you got to figure it out. I appreciate that. I like that more because I don't like when you have tutorial upon tutorial upon tutorial and it just keeps going. And my instinct when that happens is to skip it. And I'll be like, if I play for like an hour, I'll probably figure it out. And if I can't figure it out, it's too complicated and I don't want to play it.
Yeah.
And I have like,
you guys
picked
played
up games.
Ogre Battle yet? Has that been on the?
No, that's I mean it's on the docket,
before?
but I've never played it, and I just hear it's like the deep N64 RPG. That's all I know.
Godspeed to you guys then. The first hour of the game is literally a tutorial, so and you need it. Like to be perfectly honest, to understand the game, if you don't have like a fully wrote out beginner's guide from a friend that's played it, you need that first hour of the game. But it is hard. Like you can be, 30% done with Quest 64 by the time Ogre Battle 64's tutorial is done.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's a trend with adding so many mechanics in RPGs.
That's what it is it's sort of adding and adding and adding. And you're right, that's actually a really good thing. I mean, maybe that's something we should have said like off the top, is that off the top this game does just say like, hey, this is the situation. Go. Yeah, go. Go down, get out of the castle and figure shit. Go, and then there's a thief. Okay, go, and it's just one sort of like lead you to a boss, to another and stuff, and all of that is good. I like that that approach. That approach that this has is it feel like yes, it's an RPG, but it just feels like even more of an adventure game. I don't even know if that's really makes sense to differentiate them, but. A traditional action adventure game is get in there and get shit done. Yep. Whether it's fast paced or slow paced doesn't really matter. That's what this is sort of presenting in an RPG sort of shell, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's good. I think that's a good thing. So
it's good.
The only thing we haven't gone to, I don't know if this is the right place to do or not, but the music. The music's awesome in this game. I found the music to be one of the best parts. I loved it. I don't know if you guys have the same feel, but I want to see if this is this. I can't remember exactly all the music, but
oh yeah,
I can't hear it, but I'm just gonna trust you guys that it's great. Probably Holy Plains. So I'm gonna put that in my. But yeah, Masamichi Amano, the composer of this, is like a really like prolific composer. He's done stuff beyond video. This is his only like Nintendo 64 video game credit, but he did like Onimusha 3. He did a bunch of other video games, and then he did music for Evangelion, like the 3+1 movie, and for some of the Berserk anime episodes, and he's like all over the place. Did some Quentin Tarantino movies and stuff too. It was cool that they had such an experienced composer in the game, and I love the music. So
It's great. Every time the battles started, I was like, "Yeah, here we go." Like, it was.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I was like Mike, you mentioned a little while ago, a vibe. I was always vibing the music. I like the sound effects, the music, all the sound design in this is really good. Some of it sounds simplistic, but I don't mind that at all. Like it's fine. I don't care if it's just a little ping when you find something or a little ping when you set off you open the chest a little sort of. Also, the animation of him opening chests is fantastic. You just smack,
And it's quick.
and it's quick.
It's quick.
Alzheimer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's he's got more muscles behind those arms, his tiny little arms than we thought. It just and boom.
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
Or it's
And that
just
stick
skill.
is so durable. Crazy.
Right.
So much abuse, and it's just not a scratch on it.
And it doesn't break when you use it too many times. Weird.
No, not at all.
How that's weird how in RPGs that just doesn't happen sometimes. I don't know about that. I didn't realize that back then everything was just made more durable. I guess the good old days. I feel like
They just don't make them like they used to.
They just don't make them like they used to. Mike, I know that your sales pitch to a lot of people is like, yeah, you should play this game, you should give it a shot and stuff. Do you feel like I know that you have a lot of love for this game and stuff. Is it one that you feel like, oh no, this also just holds up, or is it just like just try it and give it a shot? Like, is there something extra there, or is it more just like, this is just go for it?
I'm kind of like a naysayer for people who say that, art doesn't, it doesn't hold up. Things don't like age well, or I guess is the way that you hear it put a lot. Not really my thing. I totally believe I don't want to call this game the Mona Lisa, but like the Mona Lisa, you can tell it was painted, however many years ago, or, you can watch the original Star Wars movies from decades ago and know that they were made 40 years ago and still enjoy them without being like, oh, these practical effects don't hold up to today's stuff. So I'm a big proponent of, meeting a game where it's from, meeting a game on its own terms. So going back to Nintendo 64, yeah, I think it's great. Holding up, I think it plays like a Nintendo 64 game. Like if you like Nintendo 64, there shouldn't be a bigger pitch than to like play more Nintendo 64 style games. And we're seeing that resurgence now with PS1 and N64 graphics coming back into games like Crow Country, and like Hero Quest just came out. Mark Kirkho's. So I mean, people have nostalgia for this. I'm not blind to my own nostalgia for the system or this game or the 90s and stuff. Like, I obviously like it more than people who didn't live through it and play through it, but there's still something for, if you like video games, like, I would think that you would like want to go back and see why platformers and this, so Jiggy's games, Donkey Kong and Banjo, like why are those so popular in the 90s and why don't we have them now? It's because that was the thing. That was the environment. That was the games we played, and this is just one of those games. It's a very like Nintendo 64 coded traditional RPG that's got a lot of that same aura to it.
Yeah, it's got that late to mid 90s or mid to late 90s 64 vibe with this awkward generation of consoles and games, and there's something to be experienced there that is great, which is exactly why we're going through games like this and stuff. Jiggy, I think you're kind of on the same page. Check this game out, right? Let's play it.
Absolutely. I think you should go play it. I think you'll be like me, and going in with the expectation that it's not one of the worst games on N64. Which, why do people say that? I can. There's certain games I could be like, okay, like you can justify this. Like Sonic 06 is like the like. I was so hyped for that game. That was the biggest letdown ever because it's a glitchy mess. I can't do anything. Like the demo was better than the actual game. But this is a game that I played through. I played in its entirety. I got to the end. I don't see why people rag on it so much. Genuinely. It plays fine. The graphics are good. Like music's great. It's got a nice story. It's charming. I think it's worth a shot. Am I gonna go replay it 50,000 times? No. But I don't regret playing through it. I think it's worth a playthrough. So yeah, give it a shot, especially if you like N64. Like he said, that was the best. It's like, you like N64? Play this game.
Add this to the list. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Before we get out of here, Mike, if anyone hasn't found you online, if you're on other shows, if you're doing other, you said June is a big month for Quest 64, all that stuff. Why don't you plug your work out there?
Yeah. I don't do a lot anymore.
Yeah.
It's mostly just Blue Sky right now. Quest 64 official on Blue Sky. I trying to change the gaming discourse, I guess. I'm an algorithm manipulator. I like to make people look at the things that I'm listening to and the things that I want people to see. It's just trying to make things more positive, getting the good podcasts out there, getting people playing games. It's kind of my passion before I get too burnt out with being online and disappear forever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making any money from any of this, so it's once again, just like the game, it's all vibes based. I'll just disappear. Nobody will ever hear from me again. But yeah, June is Questiversary. June 10th is the anniversary of the game. It'll be 27 years this year.
Wow.
So there'll be lots of I got lots of people streaming the game. I had some rather big name streamers coming on to do some stuff. I just did 2 episodes with Pixel Project Radio. Rick Firestone over there did a great job putting up with me for like 6 hours of Quest podcasts to do like in-depth story beat looks at both of the N64 and the Game Boy Color RPG games, which just released today when we're recording, but I don't know when this episode will come out, but it'll already be out then. So,
yep.
But yeah, lots of stuff going on. We'll have lots of giveaways this month. I'll be giving away a bunch of copies of Quest and promoting a bunch of other stuff. And then in July, I disappear for a couple weeks, and that's it. So
as you should. Take a load off, man. Take a load off. It's all good.
Yeah.
And Jiggy, you're busy as usual, I think, as I always say, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're wrapping up Mumbo May. Finishing off, actually tying it in sort of with the GBA episode we did with the Banjo Grunty's Revenge.
That's right. As of this release, that would be already out. So if you want to play and listen to us talk about the 2 Banjo-Kazooie GBA games, took a little detour into handheld land. We talked about those. Nice, long, cool discussion on that.
You get the analysis and discussion on it, and then I did a mysteries video on. Well, I'm doing a mysteries video. By the time this recording comes out, it'll be out.
Yeah.
Grunty's Revenge mysteries. So that'll be pretty fun. Just kind of make some cool connections there, and finishing Mumbo May and jumping into Jumbo June. Just continuing it because I loved it. And I will be doing some Switch 2 content though. I will say that much.
There you go.
I'm pumped for it. I'm excited. Switch 2 is going to be out.
Nice.
Good times.
You can find Remember 64 on, if you're listening to this, you probably know that it's on podcast feeds, of course, so you can find it there. YouTube as well, video versions of all these episodes. If you are listening to this, you can check out that, things that we're referencing that we're talking about, and look at our beautiful faces, of course. And also just random videos that I come up with, like Mike with his meme extraordinaire on his account. Every once in a while, I come up with a stupid idea in the middle of the night, And I'm like, hey, I'm going to make a really silly video out of that. And I do that. Or it'll be short clips from episodes and things like that. So you can check that out on YouTube as well. Remember 64. Of course, you can support the show at patreon.com/remember64show. Every single episode you can get early. And you can make sure that you, have a little bit of extra content here and there when I can find the chance and have the energy. But kids, am I right? So yeah, that's pretty much and work. God, life. But we got a plan. If you haven't checked it yet, check on socials as well. Remember 64 Show, mostly Blue Sky, Instagram, every once in a while on TikTok as well. That's where you'll find it. And got some pretty good games coming up as well after this one. So some racing games, looking to try to get Perfect Dark in at some point as well.
Yeah.
But
another rare game. Let's do it.
Yeah, another rare game. Yeah. But a lot of good stuff coming up in the next couple of months. So stay tuned. And Mike, thanks so much for joining us and putting up with our experience through this game.
No, thanks for having me. It was great.
Jiggy, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks everyone for listening and watching, and catch you next time on Remember 64. Ciao.
Beep, boop, 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 boop. Let's be doing the outro.